December 7, 1941, a date that lives in infamy. But what if the story you know is just the surface? What if the attack on Pearl Harbor wasn't just a surprise, but a meticulously planned operation, codenamed Operation Z? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of World War II's most guarded secrets. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a high-stakes gamble, masterminded by Admiral Yamamoto. He drew inspiration from an unlikely source, a British torpedo attack on the Italian fleet at Taranto. Yamamoto saw a blueprint. He envisioned a knockout blow that would cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet before America could even enter the fight. Imagine the scene. 6 of Japan's most powerful aircraft carriers, the Akagi Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, Shokaku, and Zuwakaku, slipping out of the remote Kuril Islands under the cover of absolute radio silence. For weeks, they steamed across the vast, empty North Pacific, a ghost fleet on a collision course with history. Their mission was so secret, many of the sailors on board had no idea where they were going until the final hours. This was the heart of Operation Z, a plan so audacious, so risky, that it was kept from almost everyone in the Japanese government. Now, you might be thinking, what about American intelligence? Weren't they listening? The answer is yes, but they were deaf to the real threat. Us codebreakers had made progress cracking the Japanese diplomatic code, known as Purple. But the crucial naval code, JN-25, was another beast entirely. Just before the attack, the Japanese implemented a new version, effectively resetting the board. American intelligence was suddenly flying blind, trying to decipher messages that were now just gibberish. They knew something big was coming, but they didn't know where or when. The silence from the carrier fleet was the most terrifying clue of all, but it was a clue they couldn't interpret in time. As the sun rose on that fateful Sunday morning, the first wave of 183 Japanese planes took off. Their pilots were the best of the best, trained for months in precision bombing and torpedo attacks in a bay that mimicked the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor. The lead pilot, Mitsuo Fukita, transmitted the legendary code words back to the fleet. Tora, Tora, Tora. It meant tiger, tiger, tiger. This wasn't just a battle cry. It was the confirmation signal that they had achieved complete and total surprise. Down below, Pearl Harbor was a sleeping giant. Battleship Row was lined with the pride of the Pacific Fleet, sitting like ducks in a pond. The USS Arizona, the Oklahoma, the West Virginia. They were all there. The attack was swift, brutal, and devastatingly effective. In less than 2 hours, the heart of the American naval presence in the Pacific was a burning, twisted wreck. The Arizona exploded in a catastrophic blast, entombing over 1,000 sailors. The Oklahoma capsized, trapping hundreds more. The images are seared into our collective memory, but the planning behind the chaos is the real story. But here's where the story takes a critical turn. The primary targets of Operation Z were not the battleships. They were the American aircraft carriers. And on December 7th, they were nowhere to be found. The USS Lexington, Enterprise, and Saratoga were all at sea, delivering planes to Wake and Midway Islands. Was this just incredible luck for the Americans? A coincidence? Or was it a sign that some warnings, however faint, had been heeded? Yamamoto knew this was a critical failure. He famously said, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." He was right. The carriers that escaped would come back to haunt the Japanese Navy just 6 months later at the Battle of Midway. Let's dissect the fallout. While the attack was a stunning tactical victory for Japan, it was a catastrophic strategic blunder. It united a divided America overnight. The surprise attack was seen as a treacherous, unprovoked act, galvanizing the nation for war. But the debate continues to this day. Was it truly a surprise? We know of warnings that were dismissed, radar reports from Oahu that were ignored just moments before the attack, and a Japanese midget submarine sunk right at the harbor's entrance an hour before the first bombs fell. Each one is a breadcrumb, A piece of a puzzle that has fascinated historians for decades. Was it incompetence, miscommunication, or something more complex? Operation Z shows us how a single, daring plan can change the course of global history. It was a masterpiece of military planning, secrecy, and execution. But it was also a gamble that ultimately backfired, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead to the downfall of the Japanese Empire. The dots connect from the quiet planning rooms in Tokyo, across the silent Pacific, to the fiery destruction in Hawaii, and all the way to the final surrender in 1945. The echoes of that day still influence global power dynamics, reminding us that in the high-stakes game of nations, one move can change everything. The secrets of Operation Z weren't just buried in history books. They were hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to connect the pieces. What do you think? Was this operation a stroke of military genius or a fatal miscalculation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if this deep dive into declassified history blew your mind, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Our next mission is to uncover the real code-breaking secrets of the Battle of Midway. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.